We are so happy to welcome a wonderful vocalist and recording artist to the show. She's worked alongside some incredible talent, including Justin Timberlake, Pharell, Jennifer Lopez, John Legend, Ciara, Rihanna, and her long-standing relationship with Miss Janet Jackson. Erin Stevenson, welcome to the Kelly Alexander Show.
How are you?
I am great, and we're so happy to have you on the show. I know that a lot of Janet fans are going to be listening to this and are going to be so excited to hear all about you. So thank you so much for making time for us.
Thank you so much for even asking me to do this interview.
So I wanted to start off by asking you about how music, became such an important part of your life. Did you know as a child that this was a direction you wanted to head in?
Yes. I used to be the family clown, like the kid that's at all the family functions dancing around in a circle by herself, and everybody's like, go Erin, go Erin. Although I was completely clowning around, joking, singing, all of the above. And I have this uncle, my Uncle Woodrow. He was in several wars, actually. And if I'm not mistaken, he was in the Navy, if I'm not mistaken. So his feet were the grossest thing you could ever see. And I'm maybe 3-4 years old. And my uncle comes to me. He's like, if you don't be still and sing for real, I'm going to put my feet on you, because he knew I was scared of his feet. So that was more terrifying to me than a whooping or punishment or whatever you could call it, because those feet were the absolute most horrific thing you could ever possibly imagine. Trust me. And I stood still, and I began to sing Whitney Houston's The Greatest Love of All. My uncle, the same uncle, still took off his hat, and he passed it around to my entire family, and my family started putting money in the hat for me.
Wow.
And from that moment, I knew I was going to be a singer. At that tender young age, all because of my Uncle Woodrow, Louisiana, and his feet. So
that is
I knew
awesome.
It.
That is so great. Now, I read that you had basically like a 9-to-5 job at NASA, and then you made a huge decision about your career. Can you tell us about that?
I sure can. I'm a weirdo. Hey, Mr. Bill, in case he's listening to this, because he still supports me to this day. Yeah, I had a red mohawk working for NASA. And my boss, I think he was just ready for something different, something refreshing to come around the office. So, and I was at this point where I was like, I need a little bit stability, let me be stable and stay home for a little while. I went to school, I was degreed, carry on. So I got a job, and I ended up working for NASA, and it was one of the greatest accomplishments of my life, actually. However, when you're meant to do something, no matter what you try to do, the itch never goes away, because you wake up thinking about it. You go to sleep thinking about it. You eat during lunch thinking about it. And I did it. I worked there for about 3 to 4 years. And one morning I couldn't take it anymore. And I just woke up and I walked in and I told Mr. Bill, my boss, to fire me. He was like, Erin, you might be the craziest person I've ever met in my life, but I love you. And I was like, if you don't, I knew he was going to try to make me stay there, because I was pretty good at what I did. And so I brought a CD of mine that I had with some demos, and I said, if you listen to this and you think I suck, I'll see you tomorrow morning and the next day after that. And I said, but if you think I have something, fire me. So by the end of the day, I had my walking papers. He laid me off, and believe it or not, as soon as I got home, I got a call to go back on tour with Miss Janet Jackson.
Oh my
So God. Everything happens for a reason. When you follow your gut, should I say, or your instinct, it'll never lead you wrong. I ended up going back on tour, and I haven't been back to work since.
Wow, that is awesome. And what year was that?
Oh my, this was like 2009, I think, 2009.
Okay.
Because I was back out with Janet in 2010, because my 30th birthday I was spit. Yeah. So, yeah, it was somewhere. This happened in 2009. I started working for NASA in, I think, 2006 or 7. One of the two, somewhere up in there.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you brought up Janet, so I got to get to her, even though we got a lot to talk about. So, we got a lot to talk about. So, how did you get the opportunity to even sort of come into Janet's, awareness?
Sure. It's something about this red mohawk that I had at the time. I don't have it anymore, but maybe I should get it back, because I think it's magical. So, Lil Jon, Janet's drummer, I was at the NAMM convention at the time. It's a huge musicians conference that happens in L.A., but I didn't know anything about it. I was just in L.A. taking on some meetings for myself, and a musician friend of mine from home named Rick, he's like, hey, I'm at the NAMM convention. Come say hi. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll come. I had no idea what I was going to. Me, the weirdo, the loony girl, just like, all right, I'm going. So I went to go say hi to my friend Rick. And in the midst of that, a guy walks up to me. He's like, who are you and what is your name? I'm like, Erin, I sing. He said, okay. And he walked away. He didn't ask anything else, which was a little weird. He wasn't trying to holler. He wasn't, flirting, none of the above. He just said, what's your name and what do you do? So I told him. Anyways, needless to say, about a week later, he sends a message to a friend of mine. And mind you, this is a little while ago. He's like, and it was on MySpace.
Oh, my goodness.
So he said, he saw a picture of me on their page. He said, if you know the cute redhead girl with the mohawk, give her my name and number and tell her to call me. Of course, he knew me. He sent me the message. I called. He's like, hey, I'm Lil Jon. I'm Janet's drummer. I know you don't really know me, but would you like to audition to sing for Janet? He had never heard me sing, ever. He had only met me for that couple of seconds. So that's why I say this red mohawk is magical.
Wow.
Because I don't know. Whatever he saw it in me. He kept his word, which is why I love him to this day. I flew myself down with the last little bit of money I had to audition. I had my brother at the time. My brother Keith was living in Atlanta at the time, so I stayed with him, thank God. And I never got to come back home. I went and auditioned, and my mom had to send me a box of clothes. So
wow,
that's my story.
That is amazing. And what was it like when you auditioned? Were you auditioning directly right away for Janet?
I came in one day before the auditions because they wanted me to meet the other singers. I'm sure you know Jill. And at the time, it was a guy named Tim. But I ended up just meeting with Jill. And to this day, that's my heart. I love my Jill. But we hit it off immediately. She thought I was crazy because of this mohawk that I had and this country girl from Texas with a mohawk who sings soprano. And we immediately hit it off. So for the audition, I auditioned with her and the guy, Tim, and Daryl. Hey, Daryl, if he's ever listening, was playing the keys while we sang. And then in comes Janet, this cute, oh, my God, she was so cute. She had on sweatpants and a sweatshirt with this, her hair is in a natural ponytail, just cute and curly, no makeup. But when I say it's beautiful, naturally beautiful, and was so kind and sweet to me. At the same time, I'm trying not to pee in my pants because I've loved her from the day I laid eyes on her. And here I am, I'm thinking to myself, this ain't no joke. This is for real. This dude just met me, and I am on stage singing for Janet Jackson right now. This is really happening. So I had to contain myself, yet try to put my best foot forward because I really wanted the job. Mm-hmm. And as I started doing it, she's just sitting there, her and Gil. Gil was in there as well. And they're just sitting there looking at me. And as I finished, I walked off the stage, and she stands up to give me this huge hug. And she's just so nice to meet you, Erin. Gil shakes my hand, and I walk out. And I kid you not, had I not have gotten the gig, that would have been just enough for me, just to see how real she was, because I've worked with a lot of people, and just for her to even stand up and acknowledge me by name and to give me a hug, and she's just sitting there not made up and all glamorous, just showed me she was a real person, and I can appreciate that out of a star. She's beyond a star. I don't know what to say, but that was my audition experience. Nerve-wracking, but awesome, and life-changing at the same time.
Wow. That is such a great story, Erin. That is so amazing. I'm so happy for you. That is just great. Oh, my God. So how did you find out you got the gig?
I went to my brother came to pick me up, and by the time we got home, I'm sitting there on pins and needles, and my brother Keith is like, girl, don't worry about nothing. He'll eat, because everybody knows I like to eat. So he's like, here, go eat something. Don't worry about it. You got it. And I kid you not, as we're sitting there, and my sister-in-law and my brother, we were all sitting there eating, the phone rang, and they're like, so you're coming back to rehearsal tonight, right?
Wow.
I'm like, yes!
That is so awesome. Oh, my God. That's such a great story. And then, so that was, you said around 2009, 2010?
No, actually, this happened around 2005, 5 or 6. Because after we did a couple of shows in a promo tour, that's when I was like, okay, I think I want to stay home for a little bit.
Okay.
Be work a 9 to 5. So she wasn't doing anything in that time when I decided to get a job.
Okay.
So for her to call, like, randomly after 3 or 4 years maybe, it was like, aha, okay. You know, timing's everything.
Yeah, that's for sure. Now, being on tour with Janet, because I think you went on the Number Ones tour as well, right?
I did.
So what was that like? I know the arenas were smaller, but it just seemed like it was such an amazing experience to be sort of up close and with the fans.
Yeah, it's way more intimate, and it's cool to play the big stadiums and everything, and to fill a packed room and know that at one time you're affecting thousands of lives. But it's nothing like having that personal moment where you can actually see the eyes of someone. And when I say see the eyes, because that personal connection that you get with someone when they can see you looking at them and you're singing to them and you're inspiring them, it transpires. So it was way more intimate, way more personal. And there's no greater feeling for an entertainer to be able to have that one-on-one experience with someone opposed to this huge stadium or arena type feel.
Can you talk to us a little bit about Janet's fans and what they mean to you guys? Because, especially because you've been with Janet, off and on for so many years, because, I've had the chance to interview a lot of artists and obviously their fan bases are really important, but it just seems like Janet's fans are a little bit different. Would you agree? I know you've been on tour with Justin Timberlake, but I feel like they're a special bunch. A very special bunch. Do you know, I still, and believe it or not, some of them are like good friends of mine now. Like Dylon, I could name a couple, but I still have friends from Janet's fans, and I do say friends, that I met back in 2005 when I first started touring with Janet to this day, who still keep in touch, who still send me messages, who come to my own shows. Even when I'm singing with other artists, they come just to support me because they love Janet. Wow. And we've developed a bond now, like as a friendship, whether it be online, or in person, those that I've had the honor of meeting in person. It's kind of surreal. Like, we still keep in touch after all these years. Those, I don't even know the right word to say, because they're not fans. They're just people who love what you stand for at this point, because they love what Janet stands for. So, yeah, to this very day, like, I could call someone on the phone right now. That's awesome. That's crazy, right? That is so crazy. And I wanted to get your take on this because I spoke to, I'm sure obviously you know Kelly Kono, and I've interviewed her before. Yes. And Kelly's such a great person, and the two of us are Kelly's from Canada, so it's awesome. I asked her, after Janet sort of finished the Number Ones tour, like, she went away, for almost 3 years, I would say. And I asked Kelly at the time, or when I just interviewed her last year, I said, did you think she was maybe not retiring, but sort of just like hanging it up? And she said no, she knew Janet was going to come back. Did you get that sense too? Because a lot of the fans, it's not that we thought she was leaving, but for a while, because she was so far away, it was such a great joy to get her to come back and do the Unbreakable World Tour. Oh, heck yeah. I didn't think it was up for her. I knew it wasn't. Now, if you ask me, I don't know. But oh no, and even now there's still so much that she can give. It will merely be a choice that she decides to make. It's not like the industry has given up on her, or like she's tired and worn out, and heck no, she's fabulous, she's in shape, she still has an impeccable voice and good health. If she decided not to come back, it would solely be her choice. And if we all know Miss Jackson like we know her, it would be her choice, not anybody else's, because we know her, right? So no. I didn't feel like it was not at all. It was only a matter of time when she felt like it was right and when she felt like she wanted to say something, because Janet doesn't just sing. Every time she comes out, she has a message or something to say to the world. And when you knew she was coming back, like, how quickly did you get the call to be a part of the Unbreakable World Tour? Immediately. I was actually doing some work with Jennifer Lopez at the time that I got the call, and I was like, and not that I'm leaving one for the other, because Jennifer Lopez was pretty much just about done at that time with what I was doing with her, and I was, once again, timing's everything. I said, when do I start? Nice. That's all I had to say. When do I start? Because I love working for Janet. I love her. I just love her, period. Can you describe Janet as a boss? I don't even want to use that word because I feel like you guys are more of a family, but what's it like working for Janet?
We are a family. There's birthdays, there's hellos, there's hugs, there's I love yous, there are thank yous. I mean, of course, when she walks on stage for rehearsal, you remember that you're at work because she's such a professional. She hears everything. She knows everything. She knows every step. She knows every note. Even if it's one missing, you'll see that face. She turns around. It's like, you know? So, yeah, there's a fine line between the family and her professionalism. And you don't just show up like, okay, what we're doing today. You show up on point and knowing your game because that work ethic has already been established by her. And you know she's going to hear every little thing. So her as a boss, like I said, she's so kind. She's giving. Like I said, there are a ton of thank yous for what you do. And being her background singer and putting in the work that we all put in, it's nice to know that she can turn around and say, thank you, opposed to just walking off stage, see you tomorrow, bye, do your job. She's not that person at all. But because of it, we all give our 100% every time. And we all, believe it or not, we like each other. We actually like each other, which is, I'm sure that shows on stage, and which is why, as a boss, I think she's smart to know to bring back the same crew, because that reflects on stage, and it's also a reflection of her, which is why I think you and I are talking today, because you love her, she brings us, she chooses us, and in turn, you love us. So it's all one big gumbo, should I say.
That's awesome. I love that you guys are a family, and I think it has translated, off stage to the fans for us to see, because, I think we'd get a vibe if it was just sort of like a professional environment. So it's so great to know that you guys really are a family. And can you talk to us a little bit about, working with her and the other vocalists? Because, especially if you're a longtime Janet fan, you know that obviously she spends a lot of time with her dancers and making sure that the steps are right and with the band. But what's it like having one-on-one time with Janet to get your parts down and knowing how you can best support her on stage?
Well, most importantly, she hires us and has continued to hire us. And I don't say this in a cocky manner, but she hires us because she knows what we can do and she trusts us. Mm-hmm. So she doesn't have to be with us all the time. However, when we do get together on stage together, we have our time in our dressing room to work the kinks out. Myself, Jill, and O and I, to work all the kinks out. The band's doing their thing, working all their kinks out. The dancers are together doing all their, staging and choreography, and she's in there with them the majority of the time. So when we do all get to come together, as far as the one-on-one time with her giving us our notes, it's very few because, like I said, she trusts us, and we've worked with her for so long now. We pretty much know everything when there's a new song that comes along. However, when there is that few, that one note or that one thing that's missing, believe me, we get that turnaround look, like, ladies, or Daniel, get with them because it's missing, or work it out. But she totally trusts us, completely trusts us. We've worked for her for so long now. We kind of know what to do and how to figure that thing out. So. Yeah. Now,
talk to us about, with regards to the Unbreakable album, what is your favorite track, Erin? What do you like to sing?
Ooh. It's interesting because what it once was, well, definitely Unbreakable. When we first heard that song, and this is before the album came out and we were rehearsing for the tour, we literally, the singers, myself, Jill, and O, we literally were in our dressing room crying. We listened to the actual, because we were just singing it at first to learn it. And then I said, hey, girls, do you hear what she's saying in this song? Do you take a second to stop and listen to what she's saying? She was being so honest and vulnerable in that song. And it was like an ode to her family. As huge as she is on her own, she says that, I wouldn't be here without the brothers I stand on. Do you know how honorable that is? Because I could go on and on about that, but just that line alone for me, brought me to tears. And of course, I'm the hugest Michael Jackson fan ever, too. That's supposed to be my husband. Hey, honey, he already knows. I don't have to explain that to my real husband, but Michael's supposed to be my husband. He's waiting for me in heaven. So, just hearing that song brought us to tears. we were in there crying. So for certain, Unbreakable is one of my favorites. And then two, gosh, why can't I think? Oh, the very last song that we do before Unbreakable in the show. I had a great epiphany. I should have known better. I guess I should have known better.
Yeah.
I had to get the words. Man, that's like the 2016 Rhythm Nation.
It's true.
Like, so much to say in it. And so I'd have to say those two are two of my faves from the album Unbreakable.
Okay. Joining us on the Kelly Alexander Show is vocalist and recording artist Erin Stevenson. Make sure to check out her website, erinstevensonmusic.com. I have to ask you this. When you guys, because I've been fortunate at several Janet concerts to sort of be like within the first 5 rows. And so I remember when I was in the front row for the Velvet Rope tour, I happened to turn around just to see and feel the wave of love that comes at Janet when she's like sort of takes that first moment to sort of just stand there and the crowd goes crazy.
Yeah.
What does it feel like for you guys on stage? Like, because you got like 14,000 fans, or depending on how big the arena is, and it's just this, it literally feels like this wave of undying love and devotion, and obviously you guys are getting that too. What does it feel like when you guys come out, like on the Unbreakable tour, for example?
Well, we do what we do, and I think I can speak for everyone when I say this. Of course, we're all gifted, thank God for the gift, and we do what we do because we love to entertain. But we also, it's so glamorous what we do, but there's so much more hard work that goes into it. From the sacrifices from being with our families, and some folks for their being away from their children and husbands and wives. For some, it's being away from their best friends and parents and siblings. You know, the sacrifices that we make to do what we love. And it's so rewarding when those curtains come up and to hear the fans screaming and for them to be receptive to what we do. It means the world, because it's not just about, we're up here on stage with Janet Jackson and I'm Janet Jackson and we're singing. We do it because we hope to inspire someone else to follow their dreams. Like, our lives are examples. So we sacrifice so much. It's so rewarding to hear that scream and to feel that love or that roar. It makes us feel like it wasn't in vain. And that's the best way for me to put it. It wasn't in vain.
That's amazing. And it's true, because you guys definitely do sacrifice being on the road for so long. I wanted to ask you, because when I had Jill on the show, we sort of talked a little bit about the traveling part. And I know, for example, you know, you guys went up right to November, and then you were off for a bit, and then obviously the break got extended. And then you did head over to Dubai to do the big event over there on March 26th. What was it like sort of having that long break and then getting back? Are you guys itching to get back together? Is that how it sort of feels?
Heck yeah. Remember, I told you we like each other, all of us. We like the crew. We like the stylists. We like everybody. It's like one huge family. And believe it or not, I mean, we spend more time with each other than we do with our own families when we're on the road. We wake up together. We sleep together. Sometimes we have to shower together. We eat together. We work together. So when you're away from your family, it's like, hey, I just want to see your face one more time. So that call for the Dubai World Cup was like, yes, when do we leave? And when we got together, it was nothing but hugs and love and more hugs, just to see each other's faces. And, you know, we miss each other. We like each other. And that's just me being honest. It's not a fake or, you know, something I say for the interview, but we miss each other.
Now that things are sort of uncertain, obviously we got that message from Janet, and I know that, like, you know, if you sort of have been a concert holder, you've been getting notices from like the promotion company saying we're waiting for rescheduled dates. Is that kind of where you guys are at now too, sort of trying to figure out when you're going to come back in 2017?
Well, we don't have an exact date guess yet. I'm sorry. However, we have been, and I can say this, we are scheduled to return at some point. And all of us are on alert and on the lookout for when. We don't know exactly when yet, because once again, that's up to Miss Janet. And when she says, come on, we're going to be like, let's go. We'll see.
That is fantastic. And thank you so much for clarifying that, or just saying that, because I know a lot of fans obviously don't want to say disappointed, because obviously they know she's coming back, but obviously a lot of people were jazzed for the concerts this summer. So to know that you guys are sort of on just alert and ready to go when the boss calls, that's fantastic. And I just wanted to ask you too, lastly, about being on stage in the tour. When I had Jill on the show, we talked about her love-hate relationship with the hats. So could you tell us your take, Erin? Because I said this to you off air. I think you guys look gorgeous and amazing and super funky. So, but what's it like dealing with these hats?
Oh, Jesus. I call them the cursed but blessed hats. Because, we pay all this money, you're a lady too, to get our hair done. And we're like, and then sometimes we have on so many layers of clothes. It's so hot. And we're back there dancing and singing with these hats on our head. And we're like, can we just take this hat off? Can we just take the hat off, please? However, they're so cute. They're like, they're like our thing. No one else on the stage has a hat on but us. So people recognize us by those hats. It's like we can't get rid of it if we wanted to. and it's like, I just want to take it off. I just want to wear my hair. It's hot. But where's my hat? Where's my hat? I got to put the hat on. Where's the hat? I got to put the hat on. So I don't know. It's like our thing, the blessed and cursed hat. I don't know.
I love it.
With it or without it. We'll take with it.
Well, you guys look fantastic. And also, I love the part in the show where she lets you guys, the three of you, sort of come out and be featured. How much fun is that to actually get a few moments with the crowd to yourselves in a way?
It's so cool. One, because we're like on the stage up front with Janet, first of all. So it's like we got to do our girl justice. Like it's time for us to perform too. And then on the flip side of that, it's cool that she trusts us to be up there with her, and to interact with the fans. Once again, it's that one-on-one, that eye contact that we get to make with them to say hello. Even though we're doing our choreography as well, there are moments where we get to wave and say hello, and just to look in their eyes and see their faces light up. It's my God, it's the most amazing feeling ever. It's just fun. It's just fun. Mm-hmm.
Now, I got to talk to you about your music, because I know you've got music coming. Now that you've got a bit of downtime waiting for the tour to kick up again, what can we expect from you musically?
Well, I am an artist in my own right. My first EP came out this past September while I was on tour with Janet, entitled Hot Damn, and it did pretty good for, the little push. I mean, we put it out ourselves, my team and I, just because there are some things I wanted to get off of my chest, and I've always wanted to be an artist. Mm-hmm. And me being the background singer, my God, it's a blessing. Like, it's a part of my story, and it's a story that I never would have written for myself. So I know that it's something bigger than me that has put me in the positions that I've been in for me to tell. However this story unfolds, the world has yet to see, and so do I. However, it's put me in certain positions to be able to do what I did in September. So now that we have a break, I'm coming out with the next wave of my EP. My next single is entitled Naked. It'll be out in about a week or so, and it's one of my favorite songs ever. I'm sure you've heard of Soul Crush,
yes.
Myself and Jill,
yes.
When we started our project together. Well, it was a song that we wrote, and the song was just way too good to not do anything with. And the song was pretty much my idea, so I couldn't just let it go. So I re-recorded it as by myself, and I'm going to release it as my next single. So I'm just excited about everything that's happening about it. And once again, we'll see what happens.
Now, how would you describe your sound? Because every artist has a sound, and where do you pull from? Which genres do you pull from?
I like to consider it's definitely a throwback. I have a definite throwback sound of like mid-'80s to early 90s. Mm-hmm. A lot of synth sounds. So it's live instrumentation, because I love live music, and I really want to bring back live music where musicians can play, because you can't get soul from pressing a button. You can get a soul from somebody playing their instrument and it transcending. So anyway, that's the sound I'm going for. Even the vocals that I record, it's not a lot of auto-tune on them. Mm-hmm. It's not perfect. It's from my heart and it's my soul. So if there's a bad note, I don't care, because I'm singing from a place. So I just want to go back to that time. So it's 80s, but pop R&B the little bit of, should I say, alternative, because I love like Hall & Oates and Pat Benatar, all from that era. So if you can imagine that bottled up, that would be me. A little singing R&B, pop, soulful, somewhat rock girl, but glamored up.
That's great.
If you can imagine that, that would be Erin Stevenson.
I wanted to ask you too, like, you know, and again, you sort of mentioned it in our interview already, like, obviously it's clear I'm a huge Janet fan, and when I was singing, you know, when I was a bit younger, Kelly. Yeah, Kelly was doing it. I'll have to send you the tape. You can laugh. But Janet's influence seeped into my sound, so who seeps into yours?
Well, no doubt, Janet. And I say that because people who've known me as a kid, like growing up, they think it's the funniest thing now that I sing for her, because I was, besides Michael, I was the hugest Janet fan. I knew all the dance moves. I knew all the words. So once I got the gig, it was always the hardest thing for me to act like I wasn't the fan.
Right.
Like I hadn't been rehearsing for the past 20 years of my life. So definitely Janet, Whitney Houston, no doubt. And a hint of Michael. I love my Michael. So if you can see, I definitely say those. I love Tina Turner.
Okay.
I'm a huge Tina Turner fan. So I would say definitely, yeah, those sounds, and a Pat Benatar. I love her too.
I love that, because that's it's like you've got your soul people, then all of a sudden like rock chick in the left field. I love it. That's awesome.
Yes. I'm a total 80s baby.
That's so great. Now I have to ask you, because you brought up Janet for a second with regards to her discography. What's your favorite song then, apart from Unbreakable, like the album? What song did you love as a kid that you were running around dancing and knowing all the lyrics to?
Oh, that's too much. It's like a soundtrack of my life. Pick one. Anyone. All of them.
All of them? Okay. But there's not one that like for example, I'll tell you that even though I love I love all of her tracks, but Escapade is always has a special place in my heart, because that's the one that really brought me to her. And so like no matter what, I'll always kind of say Escapade, because that one just blew me out of the water. So is there like one that is just like, yep, that's your jam if you had to sing it for the rest of your life?
It's tough. And I'm not saying that to be the, oh my gosh, I can't name one. All of them, yes, Janet. No, I swear to you, I'm not doing it to be that girl. It's so hard to even name one, because, like I said, I grew up in front of the TV watching VH1. Every time there was a video, I learned it. I knew it. I was in love with it. From If, oh my goodness, from If to What Have You Done For Me Lately, to Rhythm Nation, to, I can even go back to songs that I didn't even know there were, I don't even know if there is a video for it, but what's my gosh, I can't know. All of them. I can't think.
Okay.
Every single last one of them. It's so tough.
Now, when you're on stage, I want to know too, like with the single that's coming out, are you gonna do like dates? Can fans find you and see, you know, where you're gonna be? No doubt. We're scheduling tour dates and appearances and interviews and all of the above. So the best way to stay up to date with everything is through my social media, from Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. What am I missing? Twitter. All of them. All of them are Erin Stevenson, though. So I looked up. They're all Erin Stevenson, or either Erin Stevenson Music. My website is erinstevensonmusic.com. Everything, I'm going to be like out of control, posting everything. And I have to say that because I'm not the biggest social media girl, but I have to be, because I need people to show up. Yes,
I need people to hear what I have to say. So, yeah, all over the place. Just stay tuned to all of my social media for everything. What does it feel like for you, Erin, when you get a message from a fan, telling you, like, your voice or your song has made them feel good or changed the way they're thinking for the day? Because, obviously, I've interviewed a lot of artists, and we always sort of talk about which is their favorite social media platform and what it feels like to get a message. So do you have a favorite platform? And again, how does it feel when a fan lets you know that you've changed them? Let me start off by saying that, and now I'm going to get a little personal. Coming up doing what I do, once again, like I said, it's a lot of sacrifice and it's a lot of hard work and it looks glamorous. I say that to say that pursuing it as an artist, not necessarily the background singer, but as an artist, there have been so many times I've wanted to quit because it is hard. There have been so many times that I've been rejected. I've been told, and I'm sure you've heard from several people, but this was my story. I've been told, you're too dark-skinned, but you're amazing. When I was younger, they were like, your voice is too developed and too mature for the songs that you sing, so we don't know what to do with you. I've had guys try to sleep with me, but like, I don't, but in the same instance, I don't know what to do with you, but hey, can I sleep with you? I've had gosh, I could go on and on about the rejection part of it all. But at the same time, I've been told, but you're great.
Yep.
You're so great. And it's the weirdest thing. So quite honestly, it's the fans are people who enjoy what I do that keep me going. So when I see someone who leaves me a message like, my gosh, your story has inspired me to keep going. And once again, this is the short version of it all, of my story, the very short version. So when people leave me messages to say, hey, your song is this, or your voice is this, or your story is that, that little bit, that 2-second message that I read has inspired me to go another month, or another 3 months, or to give it everything that I've got, because it's not about me. At this point, it's not even about me, because who am I to give up when so many people believe that I have what it takes? And I think that would be selfish of me to do that. So giving it all I got.
Well, you keep going, girl, and you are always welcome back on this show, always. And I hope you let us play. I hope you let us play your song, because we want to play your song and let the fans hear it. So we're excited to do that. And before I let you go, I have to ask you this, just because I would be remiss of me. When you were out on tour with Justin, that was such a fantastic tour. What was that experience like? How'd you get the call for that?
Oh, well, a friend of mine named Nicole, she also sang for Janet for a minute, too. She was diagnosed with a cancer scare, believe it or not, that she had to go have treated. Bless her heart, she doesn't have it anymore. Amen for that. I don't care what you believe, you thank God, or whoever you believe in for the higher power, because she no longer has it. However, when she had to go to get treated for it, I received a phone call from Adam Blackstone. And, of course, he was an MD for Janet as well. So he knew of my previous work ethic and my work habits. And he was like, Erin, I need you to come in, and I need you to come in ready, because we've got to go. And I was like, cool, let's do it. What do I need to do? He sends me, once again, this is Justin Timberlake, all of these songs, all of these lyrics, all these backgrounds. I get to rehearsal, all this choreography. And I'm thinking to myself, this just may be the hardest thing I have to do. And I say that because his vocals are so intricate. His background vocalists, are intricate parts of his show. In Justin's show, everyone is the show. So I had to learn so much in such a little time, and then get on stage and look like I'd been doing this for the past 6 months to a year. It was possibly the toughest but most invigorating thing I have done in my life, and I absolutely loved every minute of it.
And now you're a Tennessee kid for life.
I'm a Tennessee kid for life. Yes.
That's awesome.
I love me some Justin, too. He's amazing. He's a smart one. Very smart.
What's the difference between being on tour with him and being on tour with Janet? Are they, because they both seem like they're workaholic perfectionists? That's
an interesting question. I would say, I think it's in general, in life, women and men. Women, Janet is a workaholic, believe it or not, but I've learned so much about what I want out of my own career from her because of her work ethic. I now know what it takes to be at that level. Working for Justin's a guy. They're just so much more laid back. Like, hey, all right, come in, do what you do. What you doing? Fix that, fix that, fix that. All right, woo, show's great. Hey, everybody, be a star. Get on stage, be a star. Do your best, It's great. You know, and of course he's smart and he, you know, picks apart what he wants, this, that, because he's a perfectionist as well. Don't get me wrong. But it's just that guy is just so chill. And I had such an amazing time working for him and being on stage with him. I mean, that guy, how do I put it? People, when they see Justin, and I developed a completely new respect for him by working for him. When people think, not everyone, but when, you know, the initial thought is, especially when he first came out, was Justin Timberlake from the boy band, the lead singer of the boy band, the pop. Listen, that guy has more soul in his pinky toe than a lot of people have in their entire bodies. I mean, he sings everything live, all the dance moves. I mean, he plays, he sings, he acts. I mean, God, he's everything. He is it. And like I said, even from my Janet, you know, my girl, of course, on the other hand, she's a lady, and she's fierce, a workaholic, perfectionist, but she slays, she acts, she dances, she sings. I couldn't have two better examples. I'm a blessed girl. Let's just put it that way. I'm a blessed girl. And I've taken so much from both of them that hopefully with my own career, I can apply to my own career and thank both of them tremendously for being awesome and just for being amazing people. He's personable too.
Okay. That's
very
awesome.
Personable. So I don't even know how to contrast and compare the two of them because they're both amazing in their own right. And I'm sure Justin would possibly say the same thing about Janet. You know, 'cause he probably learned so much from her himself. You know, now he's a living legend. So, you know, it's the next come-up breed that comes up under him. So I don't know.
Now, before I let you go, I think if I've done my research correctly, you got married this year. So on behalf of all of us here at the Kelly Alexander Show, we want to congratulate you on that.
Yay, thank you. I did on New Year's Eve.
That's so great. Yeah, Jill mentioned she was heading out to have a good time. So I think that's fantastic. And do you find that being married now, has that changed your priorities with regards to your singing career, or is it just added to it and there's more support?
Both of those are yes and yes. Yes, it has changed my perspective, and yes, it has added more support. I waited so long to get married because doing what we do, it is hard to find love. It's hard to find someone who can cope and deal with what you do. At the same time, it's also hard to find someone who loves you for you. And I'm not even a star. I just work for all the stars, someone who's trying to be a star. But there are people who get consumed with your lifestyle when me, I'm just going to work, you know? So I waited to find someone who would be my biggest supporter, who could still tell me no, that I don't need to do this, or yes, you need to do this, and be my biggest cheerleader. And the reason why I say no is because, you know, as in all things, all money ain't good money. And I do have some sort of integrity about myself. So, you know, just someone who keeps me grounded, but at the same instance is going to push me when I need my push. My husband is the absolute... My goodness, he's brought so much out of me. My next album that's about to come out, should I say, has all been inspired by him. Entirely inspired by him. I think I've written some of the best songs I've ever written in my life because of him. And I just hope to infect the world with love. When I say it's changed my perspective on touring, because there once was a time where I had to accept every gig that came my way because I needed money. And now I'm at a point in my life where when Janet calls, I want to go because I love working for Janet. However, I have a husband now that I love to be with, that I actually like. And, you know, when certain people, and I'm not talking about Janet, because when Janet calls, I'm gone because I absolutely love working for her. Work's fun. It's, you know, and I hope that that's making sense to you. I love working for her, so I have no problem with going to work. But thank God I'm at a place now where, you know, when I was 20 years old with no husband, no children, all the above, yeah, go travel around the world, do it again, blah, blah, blah. But I've been blessed enough, and I've worked, I should have said this, I've worked so hard to now I can say I want to be at home with my husband and stay home with my husband. But at the same time, back to this itch that I mentioned earlier in the interview, I can't help but to sing. I'm meant to sing. I'm meant to write. I'm meant to perform. That's the only reason I exist. and was created. So by having the supportive husband, which I wouldn't have married if he was not supportive, I get the best of both worlds. I think that's what you're supposed to do with cake. You're supposed to eat it. So I get to eat my cake. And with me being my own artist now and trying to pursue my own personal dreams, I get to tour, I get to travel, I get to sing, and my husband gets to be right there and push me on the stage. So I eat my cake, and I'm absolutely loving every minute of it. I encourage anyone who's looking for love or to wait for love so that you can eat your cake and not just have cake and sit there and look at it and tease yourself because you're on a starving diet.
You are awesome. I love you. So thank you for this. I really, really appreciate it. And if I can put the Janet fans on my back for just a second, I know they are delighted with what you do with Janet. And just, you have such light when you're on stage, all three of you as the background vocalists. So thank you. Thank you so much for this. We really appreciate it, Erin.
Listen, I appreciate it tremendously. Thank you, Kelly, for even listening to me, for even interviewing me, and for even just calling and say, hey, the fans want to hear what you have to say, because once again, we represent Janet just as much, which is why she continues to hire us, and we love her. So thank you for loving us.
That is vocalist and recording artist Erin Stevenson. Don't forget to check out her website, erinstevensonmusic.com, and her brand new track called Naked. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video. We've got a lot more great content coming your way, so make sure to subscribe right here and check out all that's coming up on The Kelly Alexander Show.